All right, week 16, Bills versus Chargers. So the Bills are favored by 11. And it's not hard to see why. I'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm going to take the Bills. I hate 11 point spreads. I mean, just anything that big. Uh, but when it boils right down to it, and the model is a little bit mixed on it as well. When it boils right down to it, the Bills have something to play for, and the Chargers do not. The Chargers fired their coach. I don't think Justin Herbert played this last week. And quite frankly, I mean, they're out of it. They got nothing to play for. We'll see how having a new coach might change that as it can. They certainly have the players. They just have played very poorly this year. And I just have the impression that the team has given up. But that's kind of dangerous because they actually have a lot of good players. But at some point in time, once you're ruled out of the playoffs, sometimes that injury list starts to look pretty good. When I look at the numbers, so is it really only it doesn't favor Buffalo by that much? Is it really gives them about a 1.5 point spread? And then when you come over here to the raw numbers as well, is it's telling me about the same thing? It's not until I come over here do I look at the Bayesian, and what that's saying is is the model has been really underestimating Buffalo and really overestimating the Chargers. And especially when you saw the two teams play this last week, Buffalo actually came out and they played really, really well. They decided to put on their big boy pants and go out and play some football, and they ran it down the Cowboys' throats, and they were actually hitting, not just pretending to hit, and playing the game like it's supposed to be played. Meanwhile, the Chargers, I can't. I mean, when you get beat 63-20 by a really bad Raiders team, that they're done. And I'm glad that they fired Staley. I imagine that they're going to fire more coaches. And the GM, I think they fired the GM as well, and they need to. I just don't think it's going to translate to them playing better this weekend. Let's take a quick look at the numbers. So in this case here, some of the things you're going to notice is you see a lot of similarities between the two teams when just come to the raw performance. This isn't taking into account any type of adjustment. So then with his last week, we saw Buffalo run the ball something like 250 yards. Very big, strong, physical, powerful team. And when you've got Josh Allen, you're letting him throw, run, and do what he can do. Again, I don't know what changed for Buffalo, but they came out with a new attitude, and that's what they needed to do. Meanwhile, I think some of these numbers over here for the Chargers are really rather inflated. They just have not been playing that good. I come over here for the right. They're not protecting their quarterback. You've got all sorts of interceptions going on with that. You see some explosiveness, but realistically speaking, it's not the same level of consistent explosiveness. Buffalo, they're not fumbling, they're not turning it over, so you can't blame it all on Josh Allen in that regard, and they're protecting the quarterback. I don't know what's been going on with that team, with Buffalo, but this last Saturday or Sunday, they just looked like the team that they should have been all year, and they've got something to play for. So I put some stock into that as well. I think they've got something to prove, and they're going to come out to a team that has rolled over and is ready to take their lumps, fold it, turn it in for the year, and hope for a better year next year. So anyhow, uh, if you like what you listen to, click like and subscribe. If you've got a question or comment, drop me a note.